My name is Amanda O'Brien. I'm 37 years old. I am a mom of 3 girls, Emma, who's 15, Layla, who's 11, and Natalia, who's 8. I've been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I was diagnosed November 15th, 2018. The symptoms that brought me in were I had extreme period cramps for a long time. It was something I somewhat dismissed because I also suffered from irritable bowel symptoms for many years. So when it came to things being wrong with my stomach, I just kind of dismissed everything because I figure, oh, it's just IBS, or I don't know, like it's just kind of normal for me. The normal for me was having an upset stomach all of the time. The thing that really brought me back to the doctor now, later on, was the fact that I was having shooting pains in my sides, my stomach, some of which made me almost call 911. They felt like severe labor cramps when I knew I wasn't pregnant. That happened probably about 4 or 5 different times. And I went to the doctor and she sent me for different tests and blood work, and everything was coming back negative, or everything was fine. And I Googled the symptoms I had and ovarian cancer popped up. And I got reading it, and I actually had all of the symptoms for ovarian cancer, but I still didn't think that's what it was. 2017, I actually went in and had an ultrasound done on my right side. So I had shooting pains on the right hand side, and I thought maybe it was kidney stones or a cyst on that ovary or something. And I went in and I had an ultrasound done, and it came back clear. And that was April 2017. So then I go in November 2018, and I have an ultrasound done. They must have seen something looked a little unordinary, because they continued on with the internal ultrasound the same day. And that's when they did find something. The radiologist came in the room and he told me that there was quite the complex mass on my ovary. And he said, I don't want to scare you, but it does look like it could potentially be cancer. Well, I don't even know what I was thinking at that moment, because it didn't hit me at all. A few days later, went to the oncologist, had an appointment with her, and that's where we found out it was stage 4. So we were all pretty shocked. I kind of knew at that point that it was further in a stage, because after all the reading I've been doing, there are no real symptoms in the early stages of ovarian cancer. And by the end of it, the symptoms I were having were quite severe. So I had known, and I knew how I felt. Like with those labor sharp pains, I knew then it was probably in a later stage, and it was. So in the initial oncologist appointment, when she told me what stage it was, that's where we found out everything. We went in with a list of questions that we wanted to ask. So that's when she said 1 to 2 years, and then she said, well, a couple years, which a couple still means 2, I believe. Told me to not waste my time going out and trying to find cures or what's going to really make me better. That the prognosis was 1 to 2 years, and to take the time and spend it with my children and make memories. So when she said that, my head just kind of was spinning a bit, and all I could think about was my kids. That's it. That's all I think about is my children. And after that, it's sunk in more, but I'm trying to spend my time wisely. And some days I have a hard time figuring out what it is I should be doing, spending my time wisely. Like, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to go on like nothing's really wrong and do daily life, and the kids go to school and the kids come home and I make supper and whatnot? And it's like, I want them to have that because I want these days to be normal for them. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I need to be doing something more special with them. So it's hard sometimes when I'm trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to be doing with these days. I want peace for them. They understand everything that's going on. They have since day one. As soon as I found out, I told them. I didn't want to keep it a secret. Super hard to do. It takes a little bit of their innocence away, a lot of their innocence away, when you tell them something like that, and it's something that they're going to carry with them now and worry about. So I didn't want to tell them, but I knew I had to tell them. I guess what I'm trying to do now too is I'm trying to figure out everything for my kids so that when I'm not here that I know they'll be okay. That's hard for me too. I'm the glue that has these 3 kids together, and when we go out and do things, it's mommy and the girls. Like, that's how we do life. And so yeah, I'm super worried about all that stuff, that they're gonna not have as many experiences and go out and do as many things when I'm not here. It's hard some days too. Some days I think, you know, oh yeah, being positive, it's going to bring you further. I believe it can. But then there's days where I'm just like, really? It's a disease and it's in my body and it's going to do what it's going to do. And some days it's not going to matter how positive I am. That's how I feel sometimes. I don't know. Positivity for me, it's to show my girls too, like, you know, there's no point in being miserable over what's going on. Let's enjoy the time that we have. So what I would tell other women, first of all, you definitely need to listen to your body. I thought some of my symptoms at times were too small to make a doctor's appointment over. I never even crossed my mind to make a doctor's appointment about period cramps that lasted longer than my period. So yeah, I totally dismissed many little symptoms, thinking they were little. I didn't want the doctor to think I was a hypochondriac, that I had all these things wrong with me. But I did have one big thing wrong with me. Because of the no screening for it, I believe that the doctors maybe they haven't completely been taught on how to diagnose or how to whatever screen for ovarian cancer. So that's what I want to push for, is the screening for ovarian cancer. And ovarian cancer is one of the top 5 fatal for women. And there's plenty of screening for prostate cancer, breast cancer, there's screening for everything. If ovarian is one of the most fatal, then there should definitely be available screening. I want the screening available for my girls, because this is something also that can be genetic, and even if it's not the gene, I still worry for them, because even if it's not the same gene, it still can run in the family. Ironically, it's a little strange, but I want screening available for them. And I don't want any woman or any family, anybody else to have to go through this. Not at all. Last week, I was in the car and I was driving and I was like, really? Like, I have cancer? Like, it just hits me some days. Yeah, it's pretty intense feeling sometimes. But it would hit me some days and I would just start crying and I couldn't help it and I couldn't stop. And I don't do that anymore. Like, I haven't cried in quite a while, which I feel like I could if I really let myself get to that point. When I think about my kids, that's what makes me the most sad. But I'm on such a path right now of trying to make sure that they're taken care of, and I'm focused on what's going on, so I think that's what keeps me up. You need to stay up in this situation. Yeah.